Hello, welcome to Gehenna Gaming. My name is Stephanie Allen, and I'm going to be your game master tonight for our game of Witchburner. It's by Luka Rejec and Wizard Thief Fighter Studio. We'll talk more about our game in just a second, but we're going to introduce our cast first. So please introduce yourselves and say a little bit about the character that you're playing. Let's start with Kristina this week.
Hey, I'm Kristina, and I'll be playing Mateo, who is a veteran of a recent war, and he's got a ceremonial weapon and some dark pasts.
All right, Hiromi.
Hi, I'm Hiromi. I'm playing Gillin, um, the zealot of the group, which also means the religious expert. Uh, Gillin is the widow of a close friend of Mateo, who served in the war. Gillin didn't; their husband did, or spouse. And if someone's going to go off the rails and accuse someone, it might be me.
A kitty good salad, of course. Miellyn.
Everybody, I'm Miellyn. I'm playing Renny, who is part of this group. Well, we're not really sure why she's part of this group, but she's very charming and super fun to hang out with. And she is the twin sister of Robin.
Ian.
And I am playing Robin. Robin is mild mannered, meek, one might say a little secretive, and has absolutely nothing to hide whatsoever as we continue through this story.
Not suspicious at all.
No, no, he's just shy. He's a shy boy.
And my name is Stephanie, and like I said, I will be the game master tonight because I am a professional game master. You can book me over at charmpersongames.com. We do things online, but we're also based in Baltimore, and in the after times, we'll do things in person. All right, you can mostly find me here doing a lot of things, but we're all over the place. Check us out online. All right, and like I said, our game tonight is Witchburner. It's a system neutral module that was written by Luka Rejec. We are using the resistance system to play, using characters and so on that I wrote for the game. It's kind of an intimate, claustrophobic dive into paranoia and witch burning. We're hunting witches in the town. The party's been hired to investigate some strange occurrences that have been happening in the town of the Bridge of St. Cleareyes, or Bridge, as we mostly call it. And they've been promised a hefty cash reward if they can do it in less than a month. We are a week in. And last time on Witchburner, the party is staying at an inn run by Ursula Cinderdaughter, and she went missing last week, only to return on the evening of the third day, having told no one where she was going. The party also investigated some fairy mounds outside the town and a holy cave system, but found nothing unusual in either place. One evening, a group of 6 citizens, including Petra Inksblood, the town notary, Jonah Prizepiece, and Blaze Knockwood, lit a bonfire in supplication to the Firebringer to purify and cleanse the town. At that event, Blaze cast suspicion on Stella and David Slingstrider, David being the town priest for the water drinker, and Stella his daughter and protege. They also visited Dr. Cleanline, who performed an autopsy on the infant born with a third eye before the burners showed up in town, but they didn't find any evidence of Witchburner there either. But the party did find that the doctor secretly keeps the music that her husband, Jonah, throws away each morning after writing it, along with a bag of human teeth engraved with strange runes, and some occult masks hanging on the wall. More calamities have continued to strike in the town. The mayor lost 2 teeth overnight. There was a freak hailstorm one day, and on another day, it rained purple and red salamanders. Gillin convinced the townspeople that they should harvest the salamanders for food, since most of their crops have been destroyed. Peppy Oldson, the inn cook and brewer where they're staying, attempted to clear his name by revealing his 3 sacrifices to the gods. tooth, toe, and testicle. It's an uncommon and extreme, but sign of
Choice.
the devotion to the gods. And that evening, Stella attempted to get into the Witchburners' good graces by giving them an apple pie and implicating Peppy. All right, it is now the morning of the 8th day in town. It's cold, there's heavy fog. You can see it from your windows in the inn as you wake up. What are you guys doing today?
I would like to get an early start, if we can,
Okay.
and get out into the town. There were still a couple places I feel like we wanted to check out. What does everyone else want to do?
That's good with me. I'm trying to remember where we haven't been yet.
Did we want to talk? I think we wanted to talk to some of the more religious folk.
Mhm.
We wanted to talk to David Stonesling, and I also have in my notes we wanted to talk to the milkmaid Leah Takewood.
Yes.
Yes.
We can start with one of those first.
Let's do the milkmaid. I mean, you know what I mean.
All right, is that what you guys want to do?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So Leah Takewood works at the High Barn Dairy, which 3 of you have been to before, having snuck in one night to keep watch on the dairy cattle. Well, 2 of you stuck in. Gillin got caught and ended up making the rounds all night.
Got put to work.
So you can visit her there, or you can visit her at the Maids Hall, which is a kind of dormitory shared living situation for unmarried women.
I think probably I would not be able to go in there. So
I mean, you're the
maybe
Witchburners. You can do what you want.
that's true.
We could, but it seems like dairy farming is an up early kind of job, so maybe going to the farm is the way to go right now.
Agreed.
Right. So she has known to be an exceptionally religious and devoted woman. You make your way over to the High Barn, and it's not hard to find her. She has kind of a zany, spaced out look to her. Always, it's been described to you. She has very red lips and very bright blue eyes, and she's working in the barn, tending to the dairy cattle. You want to approach her? Do you want to ask someone else about her? Do you want to kind of look around and see what you see in the barn?
I'm going to just move into the barn and be within eyesight of her, but not approach her. I'll let one of the other, obviously. Just kind of looking around.
I nudge Gillin. I heard she's really religious. Plus, you hung out with her, right? Why don't you go talk to her and see what you can find out?
It's true.
Hung out with Bernarda, who is one of like the shepherds.
Oh, see, I
yeah.
totally misunderstood. I think I was drinking when you told me that. So, still, you know Bernarda? You go in, you go be like, I'm best friends with Bernarda.
Miss Takewood, how are you this morning?
Hello, Werner. I'm doing well. How are you?
Praise the Waterbringer.
Indeed, yes. Praise them.
We understand that you might have insights into what's been going on, especially since we understand that you're more spiritually in tune than a lot of your neighbors. Not to speak ill of them, but you are more devout, we hear.
Well, I only do what's right and proper and honor the water drinker and the other gods too, of course, but mostly the water drinker. I must. It's for our safety. Um,
Indeed. Have you seen anything unusual these past few weeks?
well, she pauses for a moment and thinks. Well, I was walking home, a few days ago, and I have to pass over the water drinker. The maid's hall's on the other side of the bridge, and as I was getting near the bridge, I heard like a bubbling and a burbling kind of sound, and then someone was swimming in the water drinker at night in November. It's very strange.
And when was this?
Oh, just a couple nights ago. I can't remember exactly.
Hmm.
After y'all came into town, though.
Most interesting.
I'm I'm not sure who it was, but I could. She's like fingering like a an amulet she wears, like with the shape of the water drinker's holy symbol on it. I could try to remember. I don't know. It was kind of far, but
Could you describe the general size of the person?
she. Well, it was dark and I wasn't too close to him, but um. Well, I think it was a woman. Um, tall, kind of kind of slender. There was like a little bit of light, like something glinting off, like they were wearing jewelry or a necklace or something. I don't know. That the only woman I really know wears a whole lot of necklaces like that. Is I don't know. It's I couldn't see, but I think it was Anna Breakwater, the 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 carpenter's wife.
Thank you very much for your help. Have you how have how have your animals been lately?
Oh, fine, healthy. Thank all of the gods and every one of them. So we'll probably be eating a lot of cheese and milk this winter, I think. uh, but
Thank the
yeah,
gods indeed.
healthy. I think they're a little nervous. They're picking up on people's nerves, I think, but they're producing just fine. Hope they stay that way.
I step forward. Which of your animals seems the most sensitive?
Oh well, she points to one of the cows. I guess that one. She's got a late calf, and you can see that cow was very pregnant. It's not usual them to be pregnant this late, but it happened.
What's her name?
Ida.
Ida. Can I talk to her?
Uh, I suppose, yeah. She steps out the way and motions over.
Okay. So I have the domain of beasts.
Okay.
I would like to see if I can learn anything from this cow.
What are you trying to learn? Like, what are you doing?
Well, was Leah said something about how the cows are picking up on people's nervousness.
Yeah, people in general in town are nervous because there's a witch afoot, and it's
Oh,
they're
like
causing calamity.
people's, not like people's. Okay.
Yeah, like animals are sensitive to human emotions. If you're all worked up, your animals probably know it.
Yeah. No, I know. I want to know who's been through there, been interacting with the animals. So maybe I should be asking this of Leah instead.
Yes, it's probably better. Yeah.
Okay. I can't actually talk to the animals, right? I mean,
You cannot. You can speak to them, but they don't speak back. They're just
okay.
animals.
All right, cool.
You don't have any kind of magical ability to like, communicate with them.
Lame. Okay. Just kidding. I'm 100%
It is a little
kidding.
bit lame. I'm always a little sad I can't talk to my cat. So
Yeah, I was legitimately just kidding because there's like one line about what to do with the animals. Okay, so who's been around the animals, particularly Ida? I ask Leah.
Well, Bernarda, of course, it's her, largely hers. She thinks, as I pull up my list of NPCs here. Just, mostly just the people who work here. I don't know, there's Megan Woodhoof, our head shepherd, just various people who work here. Nobody unusual. Well, except y'all, I guess. I heard that some of y'all slept in the barn a few nights ago.
We were
I
trying
did
to
not.
protect.
Oh, my apologies.
We were trying to protect the animals. We wanted to see if
Yeah,
they were going to be hurt in any way.
This is what Bernarda said, and Megan, and said that you're trying to protect them, especially you're worried about our food after all the crops are blighted. Appreciate that. You're looking after us.
Indeed. And as you pointed out, there's the potential that the stress might be getting to the animals, in which case some of the scripture points to metaphorical flocks, but in this case you have an actual assemblage of animals that you already treat as though they are part of your family. But I urge you to follow the knowledge of the water drinker to make sure that you purify yourself and your feelings, to make sure that when your emotional energy washes over you and then it washes over your cattle, that they feel the peace that the water bringer gets us.
Yes. And she reaches out and like grabs your hand as you're preaching with both of us. Says, yes. It is so refreshing to meet someone who believes so devoutly. I will give blood and take ash today.
Water
And I think
drinker
if you
praise.
wanted, you could make that count as your refresh action.
I could, but I'm actually okay.
All right, so you don't need the refresh action then. She's easier
I,
than
I'm
most
just
to inspire into religious fervor. Is there anything else you guys would like to accomplish in the barn?
I would like to inspect Ida.
Okay, sure. Go ahead and make a roll for that, and I would say the domain of beast does apply here.
Okay. So what would forgive me? It's been 2 weeks. I had a lot of turkey.
So you always get 1d10 to roll,
Uh-huh.
and then if you have a domain and or a skill, you can add another d10 for each of those.
Cool. Okay. We take the higher one, right?
You use the single highest score.
Yes. Yep. 6.
Okay, 6 is success at a cost. So you will incur stress to one of your resistance tracks. And I think you'll take it to the goodwill, because I think that Leah, as you are touching on Ida and running your hands along, is pretty nervous. She's kind of protective of the animals. Ida's, one of the most sensitive. She's, pregnant and unusually pregnant late in the season. So I think she's not great at not real comfortable with you putting your hands on the cow, but she allows it. So give yourself 1 stress to the goodwill track. And what are you looking for as you examine Ida?
I'm trying to see anything strange. I want to know, can I tell, is she overly pregnant? Is she late? Is she in distress? Is she in pain? Does she look like she's been tampered with at all? Is she making eye contact with me? Is she like there?
She's a little bit nervous, you can tell. She doesn't know you and you're running your hands over her, but that's normal behavior for just about any animal. And she does warm to you as you know, you're soothing her or making gentle sounds, that kind of thing. She's a little distressed because of that, because of just the general atmosphere, but she's not in pain. Her pregnancy seems healthy. It's the only unusual thing you can see is that it is very late to be like ready to calve here within the next like few weeks.
But she should have already gone.
She's not past due. It's just that
Oh,
cows
okay.
typically are bred to have cows are typically bred to give birth in the spring/summer, not late in the fall, almost winter. It's unusual that she's pregnant. Nothing else about her pregnancy is unusual.
Okay. I hold my hands up. Didn't find anything.
All right. So we're now moving into the afternoon. Did you guys want to spend the afternoon in the barn, or did you want to go somewhere else?
No.
Absolutely not.
Maybe Stone Slinger.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Sure.
Priest house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you head over that way, and you see a lot of people outside of his house as well, actually. His house also doubles as a temple. Pull it up here. It's called Holyman's House. It's, you know, just a really whimsical, eclectic mishmash of different architectural styles that you can see. And outside, there's a gathering of people. You see Petra and Edna, the mayor. You see the doctor. You see Peppy. You see Stella's outside with the people as well. You see Ursula there. And you see two other people who you haven't yet met. You see a man and a woman. Um, the man is older with gray hair. He's got a golden necklace, a locket on. He looks very kind of like a man who always is sad. He just has those kind of lines worn into his face. He's got big muscles, though, like the muscles of someone who does hard manual labor and has done it for 50, 60 years. And then the woman is very sinewy. She has dark hair. She's wearing a leather necklace around her neck that kind of like goes into her clothing. Um, she is also tall. They're not standing next to each other. You don't think they're together necessarily, but those are the two people that you don't recognize in the group. And they're all just kind of like calling out to David Slingstrider, who is standing outside. You briefly met him in your whirlwind tour that first night. He is petite, got a big bushy beard, deep eyes. He's got an athletic build, gray hair streaking through his normally black hair. And they're calling out. There's a lot of rabble, loud voices, which is hard to make out anything in particular, and they get quiet as you approach.
Was he at the bonfire?
He was not.
Okay.
While we're approaching, before we get there, I'm actually going to quietly ask Gillin. There are a lot of rivalry between worshippers of seems unusual here. Like they're working against each other sometimes.
What do you say in return, Gillin?
Don't necessarily work against each other, but they You know, when you have several friends and only one suite, you can't really divide it, so one comes out ahead of the rest. And sometimes there's ill will among those who did not get the suite.
I'm actually not familiar with having friends, but I understand your analogy.
So the crowd gets silent as you all approach, and they all turn and stare at you.
What does David Stoneslinger do?
He sees you and seeing the crowd, he says, "The Witchburners are here. They will help us. They have it in hand. Welcome, burners. Welcome to my temple. Welcome to my home."
Gonna kind of look at Renny.
Renny just shrugs. She's like, I don't know what to do with this guy. Oh, wait, I do. Thank you, sir. I walk up on stage next to him. I'm like,
stage, you're just outside his house.
I'm imagining, though. It's like I'm acting like I'm walking up on stage, even though I'm not, because
He's
I have
clearly
that
in front of
bravado.
everyone, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can definitely, you're getting the crowd's attention here. Okay.
I have that. We've made a lot of progress, I say to the group. How do they respond?
They look a little dubious, but hopeful.
Does anyone look especially nervous?
I think David himself looks a little nervous.
Oh,
at
good.
that.
I step a little closer to him.
And Peppy and the woman you don't know, I think the three of them look especially nervous.
So I turn to David. What did we miss?
I think Ivana Cleanline, Dr. Cleanline, speaks up, says, "We think you need help. Been here a week. We've yet to hear anything, and my husband is missing now. I think you should work with David, with our priest here, to find this witch quickly."
Your husband is missing.
Yes.
Since when?
This morning. He never came back from his walk. He goes out and he takes a very long walk in the hills every day. It's something about the creative process, he says.
Okay.
And sometimes his walks are very long. Sometimes he doesn't come home for breakfast. But it's nearly dinner time and he's not back.
Is there any chance he went to the market and forgot to tell you?
Jonah doesn't really.
Before.
To other towns? No, he's
cool.
He
Okay,
writes
cool.
music.
Never mind. Yeah, never mind. Forget I asked it. Okay. That's bad. Week, not that long, but that's bad. We need to figure that out. Do you have any, like, can you tell us where he goes specifically? Can you, like, draw us a map?
No, he just wanders. He says it's different every time. I went once or twice, but I'm really not a morning person. I'd rather not get up with the Firebringer.
Okay, so which direction does he normally go?
All of them. He wanders. He's a free spirit. He's a musician.
Cool. I grab, what's David, right? Stoneslinger?
Mhm.
I grab his hand and I say, "You're going to help us find her husband. I know you can find him."
I will do my best.
Lead the way.
Perhaps instead we should create some search parties.
I mean, we could do that too.
That sounds very good. David likes the sound of this. Yes, organize search parties. The burner has an excellent idea.
I just thought, David knows the area. Like, he's, like, very in touch with everything that's going on here.
I turn and I look at the crowd and I say, well, it looks like we have plenty of volunteers.
All of them look visibly shaken and very unenthusiastic.
Oh, too bad.
So
I need 4 of you who know the land to go in each way of the winds. One will lead, one will, I guess I need 8. One will lead, one will follow in each party. Everyone in between is your responsibility. You will carry torches and you will stay together. Do I have 8 volunteers?
roll for that for me.
Okay.
There are 8 people there, 9 including David.
All right. Could I use bureaucracy?
What? Read me the description of bureaucracy.
Processes of law, rituals, and sacrifices. I guess it's not. And machinations of government.
It's kind of a stretch there. Do you have any kind of like ability?
Um,
What about
nothing that's
intimidate?
going to be make anyone feel very good. I have a lot of threatening I can do, but I'm not trying to threaten anyone. I'm trying to like,
Right.
you know, get
Anyone
them to
motivated
Inspire
to
them.
help Mateo?
I'll be charming.
Okay. So then, Kristina, add 1 die to your pool,
Okay.
and I am going to let you know that you can tell looking at these people that they're afraid of you.
Oh no.
They are
Well,
all of them afraid of all of you. These are people in town who are afraid of you. So it's going to be difficult, and I'm going to tell you to take away that die now.
okay. So roll again or keep my lowest.
Oh, did you roll already?
I did, yes.
Okay. So how many dice did you roll in total?
2.
Okay. So let's just say just roll 1 then. We'll just roll
Okay.
again.
So I have the unspoken threat ability. The way that it's worded, so if used against someone who fears you, it simply succeeds, but at a cost. But I can only use it once per day. So would this be? Could I use it in this situation, or would it only affect one person?
I'll let you use it against your group after this roll. So right now you're helping. You're like Gillin is helping Mateo, and then based on the outcome of that, if you want to use unspoken threats afterwards, if they're not complying based on Kristina's roll, then yes, you can use it, and it'll work for the whole group.
Okay.
I rolled
So.
a 9.
Okay, all right. You succeed without taking stress. But speaking of stress, what is your highest stress score?
1 in mind and 1 in goodwill.
All right, I gotta get you guys some more stress. I don't get to have any fun yet. All right. So your speech, your commanding presence, really just kind of inspires them, and they're afraid, but they listen to you, and they split off into pairs. They organize to get torches. They pick directions, and they start marching off.
I'll let them all know to report back at this home in maybe 3 hours, right after darkness falls, so they're not out all night.
Excellent. They agree to that, and David says that he will, he'll go down to the temple, he'll pray and make offerings and pray for their safety and for Jonah's safety and his speedy return.
Oh no, I'm still got a hold of his hand. I'm like, no, David, you're not going anywhere.
All right. What do you require of me, Witchburner?
Answers.
Any answers I have to give are yours to take.
All of them.
Any answers I have are yours. Yes, all of them. What do you seek to know?
I believe what my sister is asking is for you to sit down and tell us your thoughts about what is happening in town, and if there is anyone from your position here who you suspect might be responsible.
He pales a bit and says,
We go inside.
I help him to the door.
He brings you inside. Inside, there's a lot of stone carvings around, and it seems that he brings you into the temple part. His home is further back, And there's lots of just lavishly carved reliquaries. There's chests and caskets, paintings and lamps, a variety of styles, all of them probably donations from the townspeople over the years. There's a very small library you can see tucked away. And he seats you down and some pews type things, benches in the temple. He
So
says,
what do you
I
think?
don't like to trade in rumors or point fingers, but there is clearly something here. There is some kind of witch. You've seen catastrophes with your own eyes.
What do you think's going on?
We have a witch.
Who
It's
do you think
imperative
it
that we
is?
find it. I don't know. I don't like to point fingers or trade in rumors. I believe in evidence. That's your job, to find the God given evidence.
You've not seen any evidence?
No, I haven't. Not that I could say for certain. I've seen odd things, but odd things are part of life. I've seen odd things here and there for decades.
So how do you know that there's a witch? If you haven't seen anything, you haven't
Salamanders
heard
fell from
anything.
the sky.
Did you see that?
Yes, the whole
Then-
town saw it.
Then you saw evidence. I feel like you're stonewalling us and I don't understand why. Explain to me exactly why you feel the need to not work with us since we are here to help your town.
I am working with you. I am here. I'm giving you answers. I don't have anything that I could think of like that. You've seen what I have seen. I'm told you saw the fish and the infant. I'm told you were told of the cat and that you have been speaking and you went out to the fields and saw the the horrible blight that will probably starve us all this winter.
What do you know about the fit in particular?
There was a handprint burned into them. I saw some. It was gross.
So, more evidence
Disturbing.
that you witnessed.
That the whole town witnessed and that you have witnessed as well.
I'm just trying to put my finger on how this is all bad for you.
It's bad for all of us. What are you trying to get from him, Miellyn? What is your goal here?
Literally any bit of information I could possibly get, I want to get from him. And I
That
That we don't
also,
already have.
Like,
yeah.
if you want to try and get him to compel something, you're gonna have to roll for it because
Okay.
he's convinced he doesn't know anything that you
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
So
Before we
he doesn't have anything that he might be hiding that he's willing to just give you without roll.
Okay.
Before we do that, from how you described kind of the chapel or whatever,
Mhm.
can I look around a little bit more and see if I get the feeling that is the wealth normal in terms of things that be donated and pretty naturally accumulated over his time here, or does it feel more that like coercing townspeople? Is he stealing some things like that? Just is there anything out of the ordinary?
Okay. Make a roll for me.
I rolled a 10. I actually rolled 2 10s, but
Good grief.
Wow.
Okay.
Nice job.
So as you look around, there is like this is clearly like a temple that's been around for decades upon decades. Like this is not stuff that David Slingstrider accumulated himself. This is donations stretching back generations. This is the Bridge of St. Cleareyes has been around for a long time.
okay.
It's been an important but small stopping post between the two biggest cities in the area for 200 or more years easily.
Okay.
So there's probably always been a temple of some sort to the water drinker here, and some of this stuff might stretch back that far. It's more than you would see in any other town this size, but excuse me, given that its importance in the trade route, not that unusual.
Okay, so some of it could have been accumulated from people passing through as well, or
Oh yeah.
okay.
Basically, anyone who wanted to make an offering to the water drinker might have left something at this temple. But as you're looking around, you do find something that does stick out a little bit to you. Kind of up on a like kind of propped up on a shelf behind a bookcase, you find a pointy black hat that has a pin stuck into it. And I'm from the south, so like it's a PIN because I have a complete pen merger. Um, and it's in the shape of an amanita mushroom, the red ones with the white speckles
Familiar.
stuck into it. And that's the only thing that sticks out to you as unusual.
When I'm going to take the bag of teeth that I took from the doctor.
Okay.
And I'm going to set it underneath the hat. There.
Okay. Are you attempting to do so surreptitiously?
Yes.
All right.
I will
would
happily
like you
roll
to roll
for.
that.
That is a 9. I like these days.
I don't.
I
Not as
also
much fun
took
for me.
stealth this time, so I had to roll extra
Excellent.
dice.
All right, so 9 is a clear success.
Mhm.
So excellent. You just pop the little bag of teeth right under there. No one even notices.
Just keep looking around a little bit.
I want to ask David about the lesser deities. I'll say I'm a newly religious man, and I feel I know the three as well as one in my position can. However, I saw there are other statues. The Idol of Love has come up in our investigation um, at least once. Can you tell me about the other gods that protect this town?
A good question. And he begins to give you a lecture about various minor deities. You hear about Miss Netmaker, who's a kind of a trickster, like Lady Luck type. You hear about Saint Cleareyes herself, who's kind of like revered as a prophet who received enlightenment. And legend has it supposed to be a cave somewhere in this area. Like that's why it's the Bridge of Saint Cleareyes. Um, and it's kind of a figure that like brought cultivation of especially buckwheat and plums to the people. You hear about Winter White, Lady Deadfingers is kind of the avatar of ice and death and receiving prophetic visions, and he knows a lot about other deities, like probably more than you would expect a priest dedicated to one of the main three avatars to know.
And looking around, would I notice kind of symbols or reliquaries of these lesser deities that were not the three?
Make a roll for me.
Okay. It's a 2.
Okay. So a 2 is failure and you take stress. So you're going to take stress to goodwill because David notices you looking around and he doesn't like it. He thinks you're not paying attention to him and his lecture trails off. Says, am I boring you, Witchburner? Have I spoken too long?
No, it's very fascinating. I apologize. My mind, it wanders sometimes. I appreciate the information.
Perhaps it was a bit much for someone newly religious.
Do you know of anyone in town or near town who has special reverence for Winter White?
For Winter White, I can't say that I do. No.
She is the bringer of hunger, and we did have an ice storm just the other day.
Hail, yes, that's. He strokes his beard and he thinks that's an interesting connection. I don't know of anyone, but I was assume that if someone did revere Winter White more than they should, they would keep it a secret. It's not uncommon to revere other gods, of course. And we are an accepting town. As long as others don't cause trouble, they can worship other gods.
And perhaps if I reverse my question, do you know of anyone who might be angry with her? Someone who might upset her enough that she causes ill omens?
Not that I can think of. I can think of no one who has any particular connection.
Hmm.
What about her worship? What does it entail?
Uh, he kind of pales at it. It's a bit distasteful. Dangerous god, bringer of hunger, fasting to a dangerous level. Fasting is a righteous and devout thing to do, unless it brings harm upon you. Forcing the ill, forcing the elderly, forcing the very young to fast is bad, and those who revere her would force others to fast even when it would be dangerous. Uh, Embracing the cold, going out at late at night, or attempting to walk on ice, sending signals you wish to meet her before your time.
Would you say that swimming in a cold stream that is always cold, but in November, would you say that that would qualify as venturing into the cold?
It could, if it was done with the goal of honoring Winter White. I believe she would accept that.
Interesting.
Is there anything else, Burners? It is getting late.
I do have one last question for you. An additional inversion of previous questions. We've asked you if you have anyone that you suspect, which you do not, but do you have anyone that you believe is safe? Someone that you know through evidence is not the witch?
Very good question.
He says, well, Evan Redbasket, the baker, seems such a righteous, upstanding man who's defended our town so many times. I don't believe he's a witch, but even if he was, I don't think he would do this. I don't think he would harm the town like this. He's defended us with his body and his blood. It couldn't possibly be him.
I pipe up. Is there anyone who is particularly against the witches? Is there anyone who's stronger about it? Loudest?
The group who was just here earlier, they are most interested in finding the witch.
Is there one who's louder than the rest, though?
Uh, he thinks for a moment. Peppy seems especially and Petra, Irving, and Ariel, they all seem quite invested, more so than amongst that group than the most.
You said something interesting earlier. That even if Baker was the witch, do this.
I don't think he would harm the town. No, he's put so much effort so many times into protecting us.
Do you believe that a witch is inherent?
I think it is the nature of witchcraft. But I think that they're not mindless beasts. They still retain intelligence.
Do you believe a good person could be a witch?
I did not say that. I said that if Evan was a witch, he would not direct his anger at the whole town. He would direct it at someone or something specific, not the entire town when he's invested so much in protecting us.
Okay.
We have spoken with Peppy, and we know where to find the mayor. Where may we find Ariel and speak with them?
Ariel, she's the butcher. So find her
Ah,
down at the butcher shop. They call it Bear House. So Bear Breaker, Ariel Bear Breaker.
thank you.
Yes, and if you wanted to talk to Irving Staffsend, he's the blacksmith. This house is called Robber's House. It's next to the smithy.
Thank you, and thank you for the lesson.
You're quite welcome. And at that point, I think everyone that you sent off earlier comes back. They have not seen any sign of Jonah. And given that it is now becoming nighttime, they all disperse back to their homes.
Is Petra in that group?
She is.
Can we catch up to her as she walks home?
You're now entering the night's watch, so you're going to put yourself at risk of not sleeping if you haven't seen with her.
Aren't there 4 watches a day?
Yeah, you can spend a long time at David's
Oh,
house. You spend
okay.
afternoon and evening there.
Fair enough.
You know what? I'm fine. I'm not going to sleep. I'm going to go talk to Petra.
Okay. You'll be at penalties for rolls for the next day. Are the
No problem.
the rest of you going to join her, or are you going to head back to the inn and sleep?
I think I will also not sleep and just kind of do a perimeter this evening, looking for Jonah. Not getting too far out of town, but
I'm going to join my sister.
Okay. Gillin, will we have it inverse? Will you be the only one to sleep tonight, or will you stay up?
Night, night, Gillin.
So, are you sleeping? Or are you joining everyone else?
I think Gillin will sleep. Seems
So we
well
can
in
have it inverse as
hand.
before?
I turned to Gillin. You look tired. You should rest.
Thank you, Renny.
So Gillin, you head back to the inn and go to sleep. Renny, you are catching up with Petra, and Robin is on your tails.
Petra, hello. Hi. Thank you so much for the help that you just gave us. I'm like laying it on thick.
She's grateful for it. It's her due as the town notary. Says, yes, well, Jonah's an odd one, but we don't wish anything ill to befall on him.
No, absolutely not. I was hoping that you would show up. When we met you the first time, I felt like you, of all people, really understood what was happening in this town.
Well, I'm the mayor's right hand. It's my job. Was there something you needed, Witchburner?
Oh, just to walk you home, just to talk for a minute. We're talking to everybody, and
Of course.
we haven't had the chance to talk yet, and this seemed like a good opportunity.
Of course. I thank you. And she begins to lead the way back to her home. Is there anything in particular you want to bring up? Anywhere you take the conversation?
Yeah. So you just seem. We kind of waited to talk to you because, well, you just seem like you might be the one who knew everything. We wanted to see what everyone else said first.
She is definitely flattered.
What do you think? I mean, who do you think is doing these things? You must know. You must have a hunch. You probably don't know. If you knew, you would have told us. I'm certain of that. But you must have a feeling.
Well, I mean, it is, as I said, my job to be aware of what's happening in town. I have suspicions. Please come in. And she motions you inside. She very clearly does not want to say them out loud outside.
I will happily follow in.
Same.
Mateo, are you with Renny and Robin at the moment, or you decided to go do a patrol?
I'm doing just a full patrol.
Okay. All right. So we'll hop over to you in just a moment. So Renny and Robin, she invites you inside. Her house is well appointed. Let me pull it up again here. It's called Ink's Blood, so it's named for her family. It's very graceful. It's got, this fine double sash windows, yellow and green roof, and her drawing room is mustard. You've been in before when she was ill. You went in to see her. And she leads you back to her library, filled with those big, heavy legal tomes. She has the servants serve you tea, and she says, "Well, I have your confidence.
Of course.
Make a roll. How well do you convince her? Are you helping Robin in any way?"
No.
5. I have deception, so I was able to roll 2, but 5.
So 5 is a failure, and you take stress.
Okay.
So you're gonna take another stress to your goodwill.
Okay.
You can tell as you say it, she does not fully believe you, but she is willing to give you the information. And she says, "Well, how much have you spoken to Edna? How much have you been to her home?"
Which one's Edna?
The mayor, Edna King's name.
We haven't.
We haven't.
We haven't.
"I think you should pay her a visit. I'm quite certain it's not her, but her father, the previous mayor, Edward. He's Some years ago, there was a traitor in town, and Edward found him and had him convicted. And, well, after he was hanged, Edward lost the ability to speak. And he understands, but he can't really read anymore, and he can't speak. He has trouble with his arm. I think the intelligence is still there, but something is wrong, and I think that traitor placed a curse on him, and I think that curse morphed in some way and would provide a very convenient foothold for a witch to get in to our town."
Are you suggesting possession?
"I don't know if witches are capable of that. Can one control someone from some distance?"
Can I roll? See if what she's saying makes sense.
Yeah, roll for it.
Okay, well, that's 6, so.
Okay, well, a 6 is a success at a cost, so you are going to take stress to your mind.
Okay, that sounds bad.
Yeah, thinking too hard about magic hurts a little brain. You do recognize what she's saying as stories of witchcraft. It's a pretty powerful form of witchcraft to be able to possess someone, even more so to be able to do it from afar. It's possible. And given that Edward is an important figure in the town and that this is an important town on an important route, it might be worthwhile for some witch to try and do that. Either from a distance or from in town working through Edward.
What about the cursing? Like, could he
yeah.
have been cursed and it transformed to affect the entire town?
Transforming to affect the entire town seems a little far-fetched, but a curse like that would be pretty commonplace, whether the traitor did it himself or someone else.
It was more the curse changing that I was trying to roll against.
Yeah. Petra is right that it could be a foothold for some other entity or power, including a witch, to get their
Okay.
hands
Interesting.
into him.
Interesting. Okay. Continue. Robin doesn't
She
say
just
anything.
sips her tea after having told you this.
I
Very
see.
calm.
Who do you think wouldn't be involved with this? It's the very least likely.
She thinks for a moment and says, I just don't think it could be Stella. You know, that's David's daughter, his adult daughter. She's desired for so long to follow in her father's footsteps and to become the next priest. She hassled him for 10 years to train her because he wouldn't do it, and she's so devoted. It couldn't be her. Why would she turn her back on all of it now that she has what she wants?
What do you think of David?
I think he's a fine priest. He served our town well for many years. It's dangerous works, worshipping the water drinker.
'Tis true. If you were us, where would you go next?
Well, I've told you, I would go and visit Edward Kingsname. He lives in apartments at Edna's house.
So you wouldn't investigate anything else?
Well, I'm no Witchburner. I don't know very much about witches, but that's where I would start.
But you know this town.
And that's where I would start.
Okay. Then I think our business here is finished.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you
the
so
tea.
much.
You're quite welcome. All right. And you'll head back and you'll do rolls with a penalty for the next day. Mateo, as you are doing a patrol, tell me a little bit about how you're doing that patrol. Are you solitary? Are you going to try and find the guard that patrols? You staying close to the town? Going out amongst the hills?
I'll probably stay close to the town and stay solitary, but if I do come across anyone, I might ask if they've seen anything, but I won't seek them out. Be pretty
Um,
comfortable on my own.
I think it's very quickly you don't really see anyone. You do see some town guard. They greet you. They don't give you any trouble. They assume you're on Witchburner business. They tell you it's been quiet. They haven't seen anything.
Okay. Can I look for, like, sort of do some, like, tracking, I guess, a little bit to see if I can see anything about where Jonah might have gone?
Sure,
Um,
can roll for that.
okay. It's a 4.
Safe for now, but you do get more stress. So a 4 is a failure. Take stress to body.
Okay.
I think you kind of trip a bit and you come down very heavy on your hands and knees, and I think you sprain a wrist a little bit. Feels real funny.
Okay.
But you don't find any tracks or anything like that.
All right.
All right. We are going to dawn on the next day. It is now the 9th day of your time in the village. It's cold and kind of wet, almost not quite like it rained, but the fog was just very, very heavy. And the 9th day dawns. Gillin, you're the only one in the inn.
I think we go to the inn to meet Gillin.
You're served breakfast. Is there anything you in particular wish to do in the morning?
I mean, I think we have to tell our friends. We have to go visit Edward.
Yeah. We will fill in Mateo and what Petra told us. Both about Edward, but also Stella.
And then I stop And I put my hands on the table. And I lean towards Gillin and Mateo and I say, listen, I'm not sure we're going to find this witch. I'm not sure this witch exists. The one thing I do know is if we don't find someone and put them on trial before the end of this month, we're all going to get burned.
Are you being quiet with this,
Yes.
Remy? Okay, make a roll for me, please.
So I do too, but it's a disadvantage, right?
So you're gonna remove a die from your pool for being at a penalty, but you
Okay.
can't go below 1. So what that means is that I will downgrade your success by 1 level.
Okay, so
So
I have...
You still can add any relevant domains and skills, anything that you have in there. If you have an ability that you think is relevant, you could use that.
Okay, I have deception, which I feel like would go with the people around me too. So, which would normally mean I have 2 dice, so I'll have 1 without. Yep. 9.
A 9. Okay, so you succeed. You're very confident that no one overhears you saying this except for your fellow burners. Related, what's your highest level of stress?
A 4.
You experience fallout. I rolled a 3.
Listen, we're gonna go big on this. I'm fine. Let's do it.
All right. So with fallout, I think that I think you are overheard. I think that's the fallout that you experience. You're trying
man.
to be quiet, but you're not really paying attention to everyone who's wandered in to the inn at this point and how close they've gotten. And I think that Anya suddenly stares at you. I think that Jeremiah at the bar overhears you. I think Ursula stands there. I think even
Oh wait, hold on.
Peppy,
That's
the
a lot
dwarf.
of people.
This are all the people who are normally there. This is Fallout.
We're gonna have to do a
This is
bunch
what
of
happens
murders.
with Fallout.
We're gonna have to
So-
do a bunch of murders.
Not
You
murders.
can clear that track that you have the 4 in and reset your Fallout to 0 for
You know what? Worth
that
it.
track.
Worth it.
And yeah, so Peppy, Ursula, Anya, Jeremiah, and Blaze is there too. Blaze Knockwood, the man with the very large eyes.
All right.
They all hear this and all just kind of stare at you.
I'd like to use an ability.
Okay, what ability are you going to use?
Manifest.
All right.
I'm going to look at all of them when they overhear that, very obviously overhear that. Say, my sister is prone to hypothesizing as if things were facts. Simply discussing potentialities in unfortunate case. And they will all believe that, but I will take 2 stress to either my body or mind.
Okay. So you're it says do they have to fear or love you, or do you just
Nope.
it happens if you're willing to take
It
the
just
stress?
I take the stress. It happens. I declare truth.
Okay.
Thanks, bro.
Would you prefer body or mind?
I will leave it up to you.
I'll put it
Body
in mind.
and or mind.
And or, yeah, I'm gonna just put both in. Puts it up to 3.
Excellent.
So we're safe.
You believe so?
I don't have to go down the list. Tell everybody why they like Jeremiah won't be believed because he's a drunk and okay. All right, cool. Peppy's the guy we like the best, so we could just frame him up anyway and just take care of 2 birds with 1 stone on
I
that.
don't know, I like
Are you
Blaze,
saying this
but...
out loud?
No, I'm just saying this to
Okay.
us.
All right. Are you saying it out loud, even if it's just to your other burners?
No,
no.
Common room?
It's saying
I'm
it to
sorry.
the other players.
I'm saying it to the
Okay.
other players.
Okay.
I'm Miellyn right now. It was all I could do not to say, like, we're rehearsing a play when he's explaining it all the way. Okay. All right, so good. And then I remember myself. Let's go someplace more private to talk.
we have need to see the mayor today, and perhaps a visit to the butchers would not be amiss either.
Agreed.
So is Mateo just ignoring me altogether?
No, I'm saying we should walk.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, let's just be Protestant about this and pretend like this never happened.
No.
Okay. Good.
He's
okay.
dumb, but he's not that.
Great. Let's just walk and talk.
All right. So where are you guys headed to?
The butcher first?
Yeah, let's take the long way.
So you take the long way around to the butchers. I'm gonna say that by the time you get to the butchers, it will be afternoon watch. At that point, morning will be over.
That makes sense.
And I think along the way, we'll just say the butchers is really near David Slingstriders, and you see him out in the front, like a small lawn area in front of his house, and he is holding a uh, excuse me, he's holding like a brush and he's like trying to like brush away and like without touching, so it's not going very well. He's trying to brush without touching at something in the yard, and you recognize it as like a holy symbol, like a carved holy symbol on a pedestal that kind of like marks it as this is a temple to the water drinker. And it's broken, you realize, and
Hmm.
looks pretty dirty. Do you stop to talk to him or investigate or anyway, or do you keep going?
I will stop while the other three
Gillin-
continue.
Gillin is definitely stopping.
Okay. I'll let Renny and Mateo keep talking, but I'm gonna stop and I would like to study what is happening
Okay.
here.
All right.
So that gives me 2 dice, but it knock it down to 1. I don't take the additional penalty. And I rolled a 8.
An 8 is a success, and you take no stress. But remind me again what your highest stress level is. Let's see. Okay, you're just saved because I have to roll under, and I rolled a 3. Just saved. We'll have some more fun later.
Success.
So you do succeed, and it doesn't take you long to figure out the fact that David's trying to not touch it, the face he's making as if he smelled shit, and the smell of shit in the air is smeared with shit.
Hmm.
It's broken and smeared with shit.
Well, it's unfortunate.
So Gillin, you've stopped as well?
Priest Slingstrider, what has happened to your holy symbol?
Oh, Witchburner, I have. It's broken and smeared with shit. I don't know what kind of shit. I'm not very experienced with shit.
Who would do such a
There's
thing?
shit all over my holy symbol. I don't know who would do such a thing. I don't know who would do any of the things that are happening in town. This was a nice place to live. After a moment, he goes back and starts to try and clean it off again without touching.
Perhaps water.
Yes, I have. He like pulls up like a bucket that he's like been like trying to brush it off with like a scrub brush. He's been like dipping and like he's trying just basically to not get it on himself at all. That's really hard to do if you've ever cleaned something really dirty. Like it's just gonna get on you.
Gillin just takes the brush from him and actually puts in elbow grease here.
Oh, you don't need to. Thank you, Witchburner.
It must be cleansed, and
Yes.
the foulness that we take onto ourselves is necessary so that we may pure everything.
That's, I suppose, true. It's more of a firebringer philosopher, but they are the 3 avatars, 3 sides of a triangle. You're right. Thank you, Brenner. And he, gently takes the brush back out of your hands and like dunks it really well and just starts to apply its elbow grease.
I don't have beasts, but can I tell if this is
I do.
cow shit?
You want me to? You want me to take a look?
Yes, please.
If you want to help, then I'll give you. You can get another die if you have a relevant like skill or domain or anything. There.
I have both study and so I can actually roll dice for this one.
Did you have anything relevant, Hiromi?
Not
That was an
not
excellent
really.
face.
Is there a domain for
They're just like
scatology?
that.
Is no? Okay.
Right.
I rolled a 7.
So a 7 is success at a cost. Um, take it to mind. It's gross. You don't really want to get that close, and you get a little. I think you get. It's kind of like. Ugh.
Yes.
You get a little on you. You smell. It's not great. It is probably animal poop. You're not sure. It's not probably not human. It's probably not a cow. Probably something smaller, which
Dog,
means they would
cat.
have had to use a lot of it to get this much on there.
I will pass that information along, very just matter of factly.
David looks a little pale. That shakes his head and then just goes back to scrubbing.
I'm gonna try to consider a plan of repair. Like is the other half here or?
Yes, they're both pieces are here. You could discuss it with David. He talks about like the rituals that he'd need to do to like actually cleanse it in that way. And a new one could be made. He's probably got something that would suffice in the temple itself until a new one can be actually carved and like the rituals performed on it to make it a holy symbol. But I think you guys come up with a plan pretty easily.
Okay.
What are Renny and Mateo doing during this?
Well, there is distraction. I would just probably lean down to Renny and just say, who do you who would you put this upon?
Does that mean you're interested in this plan?
I did not say I was interested in your plan.
You asked me a question about this plan that made it clear that you were interested in this plan.
I'm a man of honor.
Yes, you
We
are.
have a job to do.
Yes, we do. They didn't say exactly how we had to do it.
We should not lose an innocent life.
Oh, I'm not talking about finding someone who's innocent.
Clearly, there are plenty of people in this town that are not.
Who do you like for this?
We have not. I do not want to see, I would say, not Peppy.
Yeah, everybody hates Peppy. I don't want to pick on the one that everybody hates.
No.
Peppy's definitely not it because everybody hates Peppy.
I do not hate Peppy.
No, I mean, not us. We like Peppy, but like everybody else.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want to find the least kind person, the least tolerant person.
This does not solve the problem, though.
It would solve a lot of problems. Getting rid of the worst people solves a lot of problems.
But perhaps not the salamanders falling from the sky and the
Yeah,
hunger.
But
and
we
the
can
death,
get away. All we have to do is get through this month.
and leave them to die?
Well, that's the problem for tomorrow. Let's get through this part of the problem right now. Because I haven't seen anything new happen, so maybe it's over. We don't know. All I'm
There's
saying
shit on
is-
that holy symbol.
Yeah, but like, shit happens.
It seems to be there are two different kinds of occurrences. the occurrence that cannot be explained, and the occurrence that can be explained by human nature. This
Okay.
is the kind of thing we see teenagers pull pranks with things. Right? Like this
Yes.
holy symbol, this does not seem in any way unnatural.
So, what if the terrible people in this town have angered the gods?
With something
Thereby,
like the cat?
just by being terrible, I don't know. That part isn't so important. Thereby, if we get rid of the worst person, maybe the gods would leave the town alone.
Appease the gods.
Can't go wrong doing that, right?
I suppose not.
We need to get Gillin on board, but I think this is our angle with Gillin, really.
They do love the gods.
They do. So who do you like for it?
Who do I like? The most terrible person that we've met is perhaps Ivan? But again, obvious.
We should all discuss this.
Not
I don't
in
Wrap
the
the-
tavern.
We're yes, we're going to wrap afternoon watch here as you've been helping David and having this conversation, and we're gonna go to a break here for a few minutes, and we'll come back with the evening watch. All right, so get a drink, stretch your legs. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back, everybody. We're playing Witchburner, and it is day 9 of being in the town of Bridge of St. Cleareyes, and it is the evening watch. Robin and Gillin, you've just helped David Slingstrider clean shit off of his holy symbol outside his temple. And Renny and Mateo, you've just wrapped up conversation about appeasing the gods by framing someone of witchcraft, possibly. What are you guys doing with your evening watch? You are right next to the butcher's, where you were going originally.
Seems like a reasonable place to continue to.
Oh,
I will meet them there.
All right.
I give Robin a side look and just continue on to the butcher.
All right. It is Bear House, as you were told previously. It's just this massive thing with like wooden beams, like holding together these like old-fashioned, like mud and straw walls with shutters. And as you walk in, the woman you saw at some of the Slink Strider Temple last night. Tall, sinewy, dark hair. You got that leather necklace that goes beneath her shirt, and she's at the counter cleaning knives. She doesn't even look and says, "Sorry, we're closing up for the evening."
Oh, we're not shopping.
She looks up. Oh, Witchburners. Uh,
I just immediately start looking around.
what can I do for you?
Well, first, we wanted to thank you for your help
In my help?
searching. Didn't you search?
Yes. Oh, yeah. We went out and looked for Jonah. Didn't find him. I hope he's all right. He's a strange man from out of town, but he's nice. I'm glad he makes the doctor happy.
I'm sorry, we haven't actually met. I'm Renny.
Renny, Ariel Bearbreaker. You met my husband and my daughter.
Yes, hi.
And just to remind you guys that her daughter is Veronica Bearbreaker, the one with the hand-shaped birthmark on her leg.
Okay.
And her husband is
Oh,
Gregor
got it.
Blood, Petra's cousin. It's her second husband.
But she's the woman we saw who we didn't know
Mhm.
with the search parties. Got it. Okay.
You have
I
not
just
met
want to
her
make sure.
before, but you have met her husband and her daughter.
Ah, yes, we know your family. We're just talking to everybody in town. And just so, who causes you great pain in this town?
No one in particular. I mean, occasional disagreements. It's all normal. No one causes me great pain.
Who causes trouble here? Difficulties, disagreements.
I mean, nothing out of the usual. Like, kids get into fights. People haggle over prices, and they get annoyed at that sometimes. You hear rumors of marital trouble or family trouble here and there, but
No.
Jeremiah's a drunk.
That's I stop her. I say
know.
no. It's more. There's always at least one person who makes the town just worse. Who is that person for you?
If you are applying pressure to her, I need you to make a roll.
I'm not. I'm just talking to her.
Okay, so she's not going to willingly give up.
Oh,
anybody.
all right. Fine, I'll roll. I'm going to roll.
And remember that you're at a penalty?
Yeah, I know. So I have charm and deception. So I'm going to use my charm, which means I only get one roll dice because I didn't sleep last night. 7.
Okay, 7 is success at a cost, so you're going to take stress to the people's goodwill.
Okay. Well, good, because I just cleared all that out, so I got plenty of room.
What's your highest stress right now?
1.
Okay.
Good luck.
I rolled a 2. I was hopeful. Okay, so she's okay, right? Yeah, I knew you wouldn't be interested in any of that. And she again appears a little hesitant to speak, but like she might maybe trust you. And she says, "Well, Blaze is a weird one. You've met Blaze Knockwood, the uncle in town, uncle."
The town uncle. I mean, is that like a okay?
Weird uncle.
You would know that's another term for the town fool. He's not. He's not quite right.
Okay. Wait. So when you say out of character, would you say not right?
He's someone we would say in modern times. He's somebody who has mental health problems.
Okay, that's right. Okay, so that's important to know. So, so he must be protected at all costs. Okay, back in the game.
Yeah, Blaze is. He hasn't been right since he was pretty young. It's difficult living around him sometimes, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened to him?
Oh, you haven't heard the story yet. Oh, well, when he was a young man, there were coming outsiders to town wanting to know things. There's stories about the mountains, like way up in the mountains. I don't mean like where you can go in a day. Like I mean like an ordeal. And Blaze used to walk mountains a lot, and he said, "Yeah, I'll take you up there," And the man paid him, and they went up, and they stayed the night, and he come home 2 or 3 nights later, and he he had never been right since. He looked hollow and empty eyed, like he left part of him up there. You think, and he was angry and violent and frightening, and he had a knife that had blood on it, and that stranger never came back. And we didn't want to keep him in town. Like he you can't prove it. None of us were there, but he killed that man, or he saw what did kill that man. And we wanted to run him out of town, but Evan just wouldn't have it. Evan, Red Basket, the baker, he just wouldn't have it. And he kept Blaze in a cage for some time until whatever spirit was riding him left. And Blaze he makes me uneasy, but he's never attacked anybody. And he's friendly enough these days, I guess. But I don't know, I just don't want to be around a man that used to have a spirit ride him.
I'm just like overcome by the story, but I try to hide some of my emotion. Where do you get your meat?
Various places. We hunters bring it in. I'll carve it up for a fee. I buy meat. Cattle get too old after a while. They bring them around to be slaughtered, and I'll slaughter them for a fee and give them some of the meat or keep the meat, whichever.
Did you say cattle or a cat?
Cattle.
Okay, I heard a cat, and that's why I had to ask.
Cattle.
Okay.
Cows.
Okay.
Have people been bringing you salamanders these past few days?
Salamanders are a bit small for the kind of work I do.
They didn't listen to you. It's uncool.
I heard that the mayor says we should see if they're edible. I guess it's not looking forward to that, but I can see the wisdom in it. I guess.
Does anybody have any other questions? I say to my group.
I wish to know, pardon if this is intrusive, but we must be thorough. What is the symbol you wear about your neck?
Her hand goes to his. No symbol. She seems reluctant to take it out. But then she does pull it out, and it's a pouch, kind of stained with a reddish yellow pigment, kind of like a clay derived pigment.
Would this be something that is familiar? No.
Not to me.
Just like a
what does
leather
this
pouch
mean?
It's personal. I keep personal stuff, and she seems very reluctant to talk about it.
I will draw my sword and set it in front of her.
Set it how? I described
Just like set it like onto the I assume there's some sort of counter.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Is
like
this
set it and
perhaps
step
an
back.
unspoken threat?
No. No. I just want to show her I too carry something dear to me on my person at all times.
Do you tell her that's why you draw the sword?
Yeah.
Okay. She considers it for a moment. It's just, you met my husband, Gregor. He's my second husband. This is something of my first husband's.
I'm gonna walk toward the door. Say, thank you for.
I follow Robin.
I have a question that might be even further indelicate, but I have to ask it. The mark on your daughter's leg,
Her
how
eyes
did
go
that come
very
about?
hard.
I
birthmark.
pause and I turn and look.
It's a birthmark. She was born with it.
Insight.
Roll.
8.
So 8 is a success with no stress on there. What's your highest stress level? I rolled a 3.
Oh no.
Just
So
clear
we're
that.
experiencing fallout again. So she is telling the truth.
Okay.
It is a birthmark. Veronica was born with it. And it seems a very reasonable guess to assume the reason she is upset and defensive about you bringing it up is because probably a lot of people have remarked on it because it does resemble a hand. And it's probably something she would rather people not remember right now with all of the witch fever going on in town. What track did you have that stress in?
That was mind.
Mind. Okay, excellent. So you can clear all your mind stress.
I already did.
Good.
Good.
So with 4, your fallout is still minor. Okay. I will keep that in mind. Kind of fallout that you're going to receive because of that. Yeah. All right. But yes, she seems defensive and she says that it's birthmark. She was born with it, and she is telling the truth.
I believe you, and thank you for discussing multiple sensitive topics with us. We appreciate your cooperation.
Happy to help.
No one should be judged an unfortunate circumstance of their birth.
Put my hand
Color
on
of her
Robin's
skin,
shoulder.
Nothing unfortunate about it.
Sure, others don't feel.
Well, they're damn fools.
Great. I'm gonna walk out the door.
I follow Robin.
Should we return to the inn?
Can we walk back? We didn't really get our walk and talk before.
Yeah, you did. You two did.
Right.
So you can have a brief conversation on the way back to the inn, and we'll consider that the end of the evening watch.
Gillin, we think that the people of this town have angered the gods.
I nod.
Reasonable assumption.
We think that the mystical things that are happening are because of that. And it is my feeling that if we find the most cruel person in this town and hold them up as a witch, perhaps everything will stop.
Potentially. I don't know that I don't know that holding them up as a witch or even burning them will be sufficient punishment for the anger that they have caused. We might need to do something more severe than death if the gods are that angry.
Open to that. So why don't we table that part of the discussion? And why don't we talk about who we think might be our likely candidate?
Well, when you say more, Gillin, what do you mean? We have to do more. Do there have to be multiple candidates? Do we have to find more than one person?
If there is sufficient wickedry,
Hmm.
it is also potentially. It also matters which god or gods have been angered, because their own belief systems and scripture that we know of them will influence what they believe is the correct way to purify this place, which could go from scourging, flaying, bleeding,
Okay.
perhaps even the stone.
So, Renny, maybe burning isn't the answer?
Okay, this
And-
got really complicated really fast, which is
Burning might be
okay.
sufficient. It depends on which god we need to appease.
Right. Well, so okay, so what's your sense of the types of terrible things that have been happening? What god do you think it is?
I believe that Winter White is the one that most signs point to, but
Okay.
some things seem unconnected. The burnt handprint on the fish, the
Ice can burn.
perhaps.
I do agree that some of the things at instance feel unconnected.
Mateo had an idea about this.
Yes, Mateo?
It seems childlike, some of these things. The cat, the desecration of the holy symbol. Perhaps we are dealing with more than one force at work.
Both mortal desecration and profanity, as well as the wrath of one or more gods.
I've seen this. Renny,
So
Renny.
we're gonna say that I'm gonna interrupt
Oh.
you here in the interest of time and say that you guys, this is the end of the evening watch. We're at the end, so you have a choice to make whether you go to sleep or whether you continue this conversation and incur an additional.
I will be
penalty.
going to.
All right.
So what
As
happens if we don't sleep? We just
You
have
get
More
another.
negatives.
Instead of taking away one die from your pool, you'll take 2.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep.
Same.
Okay. So everyone goes to sleep. Correct. Robin, you attempt to go to sleep,
Mm-hmm.
but you have nightmares
Awesome.
Fuck.
most of the night of burning hands. And you wake up pretty exhausted. You're at a 2 die penalty now.
I sleep through the morning.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Okay. So you're gonna sleep in the morning?
Yes.
All right. You guys awake on the 10th day in the town of Bridge. It is cold and again damp, and the fog is very thick, thick as soup outside your windows. Renny, Robin is just deeply asleep, dead to the world, it seems. You know he's not going to wake.
I go down to breakfast.
All right. So you guys are down there. Breakfast is brought to you. Anything you want to accomplish during your morning watch?
I think we should pay a visit to Blaze Knockwood.
Oh, is
We
he
might
here?
You look around, and he is not currently in the inn. No.
Okay, let's go find him.
How are you going to go about finding him?
Ursula, Anya, Peppy, do any of you happen to know where we might find Mr. Knockwood today?
Anya is there refilling coffee. Says, "Oh, not sure why you'd want to talk to Blaze, but if you're convinced, he lives over in the Apple Shack. It's the name of his house." And she gives you directions out towards the edge of town.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your help
Right.
and your continued hospitality.
Happy to help. All right, you guys head out towards Apple Shack.
Should we wait for Robin and do this on our afternoon watch?
Now let's just go.
Okay.
He's gonna sleep for a while.
Leave him a note.
Yeah.
All right, you can leave a message with Anya. She can give it to him because there is no paper in the end.
Yes, we will.
That's right.
Right, so you guys make your way out into a house that you can tell was once literally a shack. But it looks like every so often it's been built up some, and now it's actually a pretty comfortable little cabin. It looks like it has multiple rooms. There's like a little lean-to type shed in the back with a cow. Surprisingly comfortable for the town pool. And you see Blaze, his athletic, sour-looking face, blinking a lot in his homemade uniform of gray and blue on the porch, walking. Got a He also has a leather kind of string around his neck that goes underneath his shirt. Burners, welcome.
Good morning, Blaze.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I am as well as the water drinker wills it.
Excellent. What can I do for you? How goes your search for the witch?
It's progressing as expected. Have you seen anything unusual prior to the signs of the witch? You seem very observant, like you would see things that other people perhaps do not.
Oh yes, I have told you about Stella Slingstrider, and she spat upon the love idol, and I have told you that I saw those hoof prints, and the Slingstriders have been disappeared. But yes, I have heard other things.
And what other things have you heard, our friend?
He says, I heard the bridge itself weeping. Sullen sobs coming right from the middle. It happened when they crossed it.
When who crossed it?
Why, when Nina crossed it, Nina Dukeskit, the midwife, she crossed it, and the bridge sobbed.
What do you think that is?
I don't know, but the bridge did not seem to like her.
Do
Or
you like
maybe
her?
she was sad. Nina is nice enough, I think. She's as nice as everyone else.
Who's not nice?
Oh, some people are not nice to me, that is true.
But who?
I think Carl is not nice. He stares. He stares and he stares and he stares and he doesn't talk. And I don't like that he doesn't talk when he stares. The others are nice enough to say things.
We've seen someone else with a similar pouch about their neck. Would you be willing to talk to us about the one about yours?
Oh, it's not a pouch. And he pulls it out, and it is a knife. It's tied to the sheath, which is old and leather and cracked and just covered in dried old blood. And there is a knife in there, a big like dagger hunting kind of knife. It's
Oh,
Ghost Friend.
It's a what friend, sorry?
Ghost Friend. It's its name.
Ah, I see. And why ghost friend?
It's how my ghost friend came to me.
Say more about that.
I used the knife a long time ago, and then I had a ghost friend.
is your ghost friend here?
Not that one. No, it left. It was very angry, but sometimes I miss it.
Why was it angry? Angry with you?
No, just angry. Sometimes ghosts and spirits are angry, and this one was very angry. But it was my friend.
How did you use the knife?
As knives are used.
Why did you use the knife?
Because the ghost friend said to.
You had previously said that you used the knife and then you had a ghost friend.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you're saying that you had a ghost friend and then you used the knife.
Yes.
So you had the ghost friend first.
Yes.
Who did you use the knife on?
The person that the ghost friend said to.
Okay.
Have you
Would you
had
like
the
some
one?
tea?
No, thank you.
Oh, all right.
I would love some tea. Thank you
I'm
for
sorry.
this.
And I like whisper to Gillin, I would not drink anything from this
He-
man.
He disappears inside. As you can hear him like clattering around like with a kettle and like dishes and stuff.
Make drink it.
After a minute or two, he comes back out with a tray and 5 mismatched mugs and cups, like clearly like cast offs. Like one has a broken handle, but the cup itself is fine. Like just different sizes, like very mismatched cast off hand me down kind of thing. And he offers it. It smells like some nice herbal tea, kind of fruity-ish.
Thank you, Mr. Knockwood. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome, Witchburner.
I'm giving Gillin such side eye right now.
Do you drink the tea, Gillin?
Yes.
It's like an apple flavored herb tea. Like it's nice. It's like very, very lightly sweetened with honey, just like a touch of honey, brewed just right.
We've heard that you spent some time in a prison of sorts.
Prison? I've never been to jail.
A cage, perhaps?
Oh yes, that's when the ghost friend left me.
I see. So you had a ghost friend until you were placed in a cage. Did the ghost friend leave immediately, or did it take some time?
No, it took time.
Hmm.
I don't know how long. Days? Weeks? Hours?
Do you know why your ghost friend left?
It did not like that I was caged. It wanted to be my friend so that it could go places and walk with people. And when I was caged, I couldn't walk with people, and so it left.
And before that, you were in the mountains?
Yes, I did go to the mountains a lot. They were nice.
Do you know other people who walk with friends?
With ghost friends. Others walk with ghost friends?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Look here. He thinks for a minute and says, Ivan the clockmaker. I think he walks with ghost friends.
Did your ghost friend wish to walk closer to Ivan?
He wanted to walk close to everyone. All the people. It liked people.
I can see that. Was there anything else your ghost friend liked, other than people? Anything that your ghost friend may have asked you to do? I ask my friends for favors all the time, and in turn they ask me.
Yes, that's what friendship is.
Did you ask your ghost friend for favors, or did your ghost friend ask favors from you?
It asked me to use the knife
Just the once?
all the time, but I only used it once.
Do you remember upon whom the ghost friend asked you to use the knife?
He was a stranger. Did not know him well.
Why did the ghost friend ask you to use the knife on him?
I don't know. But it made the ghost friend happy.
Did you like the stranger?
He was nice.
Did he treat you okay?
Yes, he was nice.
But he displeased the ghost friend.
No.
So your ghost friend neither liked nor disliked the stranger. Your ghost friend simply wanted you to use the knife on him.
Yes. It made the ghost friend very happy.
So do you think that it would have made your ghost friend happy to use the knife regardless of who it was on?
The ghost friend wanted to meet everyone.
Was there a specific place that the ghost friend wanted you to visit? Or that your friend was especially happy in? Did not hear that. Zoom, how dare. How dare Zoom.
This is
We fixed the technical difficulties. Sorry about that. What was the question that you asked, Blaze?
Was there a particular place that the ghost friend wanted him to visit, or some place that the ghost friend was particularly happy in?
The town. It's where all the people are.
The town specifically, not the farms?
More people in town. The ghost
see.
friend wanted to be with people.
Thank you. I think that was very helpful. You're a very helpful person, Blaze.
I try very hard to be helpful. Thank you.
You're very nice. I like you.
I try to be nice. I like you too. He collects your cups, puts them back on the tray. Takes them inside.
I turn to Gillin. Can I ask Gillin a question as we leave?
And I will let you know that that was both the morning and the afternoon watch.
Okay,
So
so
we'll have to pop back to Rob and see what he did on the afternoon watch.
Okay.
But go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, since it was 2 watches, I think I can squeeze it in. How is that helpful?
He said that he heard the bridge weeping when Nina Dukes could cross the river. His ability to discern between where things are happening is not necessarily useful, but it means that either Duke's Good was distraught or someone underneath the bridge was. And we already know that someone in this town likes swimming underneath things, which means that we either need to talk to Nina Dukes Good to see why she's upset, or we need to find who keeps swimming in things.
Okay.
It also clarifies interesting bits about his possession. And if that spirit's still around, then we have other problems. But I don't think that that's true. That spirit seems particularly unsubtle.
Fair enough.
All right. So while this is happening, Robin, you've spent the morning sleeping.
Yes, and
So
now I
you
am
had your
refreshed.
1 watch of sleep, having missed 2. So you come downstairs, and the usual people are there in the inn: Anya, Ursula, Jeremiah, Peppy. There's also a younger woman, kind of mousy haired, sitting there having like a pretty animated conversation with Jeremiah up at the bar.
I'm gonna listen in.
All right. So do you sit at the bar? Do you sit just like at a table nearby?
I'll sit at a table nearby.
Okay. So Anya brings you food, and you can hear the woman talking to Jeremiah and says, "Yeah, it's the strangest thing. I've never seen anything like that. It was so weird. Like, just honey. I guess I like. Do you think it's safe? It's probably safe, right? I can harvest that honey and sell it, right? That's fine. Probably you think so, Jeremiah?" And he's like, "I'm not gonna eat it. I wouldn't eat that. That sounds haunted." She says, "Well, it's not haunted. There weren't any ghosts. It was just dead. Like it's honey. Like it's still good, right? Like we don't have a lot to eat this winter. We're probably gonna need some bear skull honey." And they go back and forth with her trying to convince him that it's probably fine to eat the bear skull dead honey that's not haunted. And Jeremiah saying, "Well, I wouldn't eat it. Doesn't sound right."
After the second time, she says bear skull. Where did you find honey coming from the skull of a bear?
"Oh, you're one of the Witchburners.
Yes, I am.
I'm Olga. It's nice to meet you, Olga Prince Brewer. Although I don't brew, I'm a beekeeper. I got a whole apiary, and was out taking care of my bees this morning, and I found just a whole dead bear. Like a dead bear, just dead in the apiary. It's weird.
Was it there
Just
the day before?
nope. I mean, it didn't look freshly dead. Like he was dead, right? Like it wasn't moving. It wasn't warm, but the head was just a skull. Like there's flesh and hide and fur and all of that stuff all over the rest of it, but the head was just a skull, and the bees were making honey in it.
Hmm. And where is your apiary?
Oh, it's out in town, like around the edge of the farms, like and she like paints you a picture mentally.
Interesting. We'll have to take a look.
You know things about witches and stuff. You don't think this is a witch thing, right? Like I can harvest that honey and eat it and sell it.
We'll have to take a look.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I can take you now if you want.
Sure.
All right, let's go. Like I said, my name's Olga. What's your name?
Robin.
Robin, it's so nice to meet you. I'm so glad you're here. The town has been just like such a shit show lately. We've got to get this solved. And she just like keeps up this like chatter. She is so eager to be helpful, to tell you anything you want to know as you head out towards her apiary.
But this is Robin's favorite day ever.
And she takes you out there, and yeah, there's a bear carcass not super recently dead, but not dead long enough to start to rot, except that the head is just a skull. There's no flesh on it, and there are bees flying in and out.
I'm gonna give this
And
a.
she points out there's like you can see where they're building like the combs.
I'm gonna give this a good old study
Alrighty,
with my domain of beasts.
excellent,
I have a 9.
excellent. And what is your highest stress?
Oh, it's only 2 now.
Okay, excellent. So a 9 is a clear success.
Mhm.
No stress there. And this is weird, but it it's kind of weird that it's mostly just the head that's missing.
Yeah.
Um, not uncommon for scavenging animals to eat bits of carcasses and stuff.
Mhm.
Is kind of weird that they've just eaten the flesh off of the head and kind of, you know, bees don't usually build this fast, but maybe it's been a few days since Olga was actually in this part of the beekeeping section, you know, like maybe
Yeah.
she missed it. Maybe it's been here 3 or 4 days. There's a lot of bees around here. And bee swarms can move fast.
Take a look. Collect a sample of the honey.
Okay. One of your little glass jars.
It's one of my little glass vials. And,
Little glass vial.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, right? Is it safe to eat? Can I harvest it? Can I sell it? Some people into that weird morbid stuff. Like I could probably charge them a lot of money. Sell it to some tourists coming through.
You can. You know what? You might be able to. Yeah.
Might.
Might.
Okay.
Let me consult with my expert.
There are experts for bear skull honey?
There are.
That's so neat. That's so neat. You can study all kinds of things in the cities. Well, she will just continue to prattle at you.
I just
until
turn and
you
start leaving.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for looking. If you need honey, let me know.
And I'll head back to town. Wait for them.
All right. So it's now evening. What's everybody doing? You heading back to the inn?
I'm going to tell them
altogether?
about bear skull honey.
An unusually cheerful metal band. I like
Yes.
it. So where are you guys heading in town? Are you heading back to the inn? Are you going somewhere else?
How are we connecting with Robin? What?
I'll
I
head
don't
back
know
to
what
the
I
inn.
told him. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I told him to meet back at the inn.
So we'll say that you all get there at about the same time, and
Okay.
you see Krista Changemaker, the captain of the guard, is in there having a drink by herself at a table, and she has a bag, like a sack at her feet, and Anya keeps giving dirty direction looks in the direction of the sack every time she walks by, and she kind of raises a hand to you guys when you walk in.
I will immediately go over and sit down.
Hello, welcome. Thanks for coming in. Found something I thought you all should see. I assume you all are there.
Yes, I follow him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't smell very good. Apologize. I probably shouldn't open it here. I'm gonna have to apologize to Anya for even
I
bringing
just
it in.
gesture towards the door.
Okay, so you head into the backyard, behind the inn, like the chicken yard kind of thing, and
Where the fish is.
it smells bad.
Goddamn fish.
Yeah, the fish is rotting in that box out near the outhouse. And Krista starts to walk towards the outhouse and then just like changes direction mid stride at one point because it just smells too bad. And she takes you over and you realize that her bag smells pretty similar to the outhouse actually. And then she says, I apologize. I went outside to do my business at one of public places, the public outhouses, and saw something kind of weird down there, kind of unusually bright to find in the refuse pile, and things being what they are, I went and got some gloves and pull these out. And she takes a glove that's like kind of tucked into her belt and puts it on, and then reaches in and pulls out, and they are small dolls dressed in outfits that look kind of like yours. All four of you.
Hmm.
Says I don't know much about the occult, but these look awfully occult, and you can kind of see here, and she like brushes away a little bit of the grossness on them, and they've all of them got like holes through the chest as if they were stabbed. Seems suspicious.
Hey, thank you for our attention.
Do you know where in town, which outhouse you found this in?
Yeah, it's and she describes it for you. It's one of the ones near like the town, like not like the square, but like town plaza. Like when you first got to town, that's where the Lord Rightmaker was, doing her thing. It's where the bonfire was the other night. So it's a
Do
place where pretty much everyone passes through.
Can I look and see if I recognize anything about the fabric they were
Yeah,
made
you
from?
can
If
make
they were
a
made from
roll.
fabric, yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
I will assist. Study.
Okay, so add
You can
another
roll an
die
extra
there,
die.
Miellyn.
Oh, great. Well, I rolled a 10, so
Excellent. What is your highest stress, Miellyn?
let's see. 1. Good
All
luck.
right, I rolled a 1. So you just squeaked by. And here I was, so certain we'd get more fallout. All right. So you rolled a 10, so critical success. You can tell these are pretty common like children's dolls. Like they have cloth bodies. They're sewn kind of not cheaply, but they're definitely not made with a lot of skill or a lot of care. They're just kind of like not mass produced. We don't live in that kind of era, but it's meant for a child, so it's not like a lot of fine stitch work or anything like that went into it. And there is clothing that was made with a little more care, stitched together to look like the cloaks and the clothing that you all wear. The one from Mateo has a belt that you imagine looks is probably meant to be a sword belt around it. You can see that there seems to be some kind of holy symbol for the water drinker scratched into the leather work of one of them. That must be for Gillin. They look decently like you. Like it was intentional that they looked like the four of you.
But I don't recognize anything about the fabric or like it doesn't ring any bells from
No,
anybody we've seen.
no, but it just looks like general fabric could have been cut out of anything.
Hmm.
Someone does not like us being here.
It
Apparently.
would seem that way. Can't imagine why. With all those things that have happened in town, why would anyone not want to get rid of this witch?
Perhaps.
Think
Which?
Fair.
perhaps. I think we need to find out who made these dolls. So, do we want to go to that place?
If it's centrally located, then anyone could have done it. Yes?
Agreed.
But could there be more clues there?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, you two know an awful lot about excrement at this point.
I think we should check the site.
I just don't know where else to go for clues other than there.
I have a thought.
Hmm.
Perhaps we check which child in town is missing their dolls.
How would you like to do that, Mateo?
I don't know. I'm not good with children.
Perhaps the midwife answers there. Be of the right age range.
Okay, so let's take a vote. Midwife or outhouse?
We could split up.
Mm. There's also another option. Krista, do you happen to know of any children around the age where they would be playing with dolls, or perhaps just ending their play with dolls?
She looks like decidedly uncomfortable with this idea of like when children come into the conversation. There are children in town. I don't know when they stop playing with dolls generally. There are no children in my life. I could just name some children that I know of if you wanted, but it would not be a comprehensive list without records. I
Perhaps
wouldn't
midwife.
want to just I she would know more about who the children are in town. She doesn't generally spend much time with them after they, start walking and such, but she would know far more of the children than I would.
For what it's worth, Krista, I do not suspect the children in this. I am more
Oh, that's
thinking
good.
of their parents.
That's good in the sense that I'm glad a witch doesn't have its claws in a child. That would be terrible.
No.
Well, I can give you directions to Nina's home.
Please, thank
Yes. She does. She gives you directions. And she says it's getting very, very late now. I don't know if now is a good time to check in on anyone, but babies come when babies come. I'm sure she's used to odd hours. If you're willing to go at an odd hour, I should be getting back. I need to also apologize to Anya again. And she heads out.
Do we have time to go check the outhouse?
Yeah, I would say you have time to get there and poke around in the shit heap before evening, before nighttime.
I will go do that.
All right. Anyone else going?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
All right. So make a roll. Whoever thinks they have the highest can roll collectively for the group, and then add a die on top of that for assisting, because I assume you're all assisting each other.
Yeah. I don't have anything that would be relevant.
All right. So roll 3 dice, Ian.
I have a 10.
Excellent. And what is your lowest fault? Your lowest stress? 2. I rolled a 3.
Shame.
Shame. So 10 is a clear success, no penalties. The critical success. So we'll say that because you rolled a 10, you guys are able to divide and conquer the shit heap and dig through it. And I would say I'll be generous and say you're even able to commandeer some little like hand trowels and a hoe from some nearby townspeople, so you don't have to use your bare hands. But there's nothing in there. You find a couple of weird things here. There's like a bone, like a chicken bone, like somebody was eating and then just like tossed their garbage down while doing their business. But you don't find anything anywhere near like that. No
What
other
about
dolls, no
in and
scraps
around
of
the
fabric.
outhouse? Not in the actual.
I think you find a scarf that's kind of like been downtrodden in the mud. It looks like it probably have been there for weeks, forgotten about. Um, but no, you don't really find anything that weird or unusual around. Certainly nothing on the level of occult dolls.
Worth taking a check.
All
It
right.
is now getting to be nighttime.
I am one to return and rest.
Yeah, same.
Everyone
Yeah.
sleep?
That's good.
Yes.
Push through onto day 11. So day 11 dawns. It is, again, more fog, very thick and oily like this time. Very cold today. The coldest day you've had all month so far. Damp again.
Well,
We still have former mayor. We still have the midwife. Not to complicate conversation we had last night about children, but perhaps we should also be looking into someone who may have outgrown their own dog.
I see.
it seemed like there were plenty of those over at the Clockmaker house.
True, also perhaps someone with grudge towards religious figures in town, including her own father. I shrug.
Let's do it. I like
Okay.
this.
Where are you heading?
I don't know, that's a lot of options. Clockmakers. Since there's like 4 daughters there, we can talk.
Are we just going to show them the dolls and say, hey, what do you know about this? It's a little shocking. I feel like word will get around.
I wonder if perhaps, well, so here's a thought. It didn't work. None of us was hurt by these dolls. They were clearly frustrated by this fact and discarded them.
So you would put this in the category of prank?
Perhaps. I mean, it's certainly not, doesn't appear to be the work of a witch, or else we would all be dead.
Or perhaps
So-
uninformed.
That's what I was leading. That's where I'm leaning towards, where the talk of witches is on everyone's minds, and it would make sense that someone might decide that we could be removed through witchcraft, but if they don't actually know how to do it, then they just stab dolls.
Now that I've rested and have my full dice pool, I would like to inspect the dolls.
Go for it.
That's a 9.
So
And
9
I am
is-
using my domain of magic as well.
Oh, I assumed. There is no magic here.
Yeah. And I will actually... I sense nothing actually powerful here. Simply misguided, formed youth, perhaps.
I wish we had thought of this before we went to the outhouse.
There could have been a clue as to who did it.
Searched, yes, but I'm not sure that they're the ones we need to follow.
So in the category of things that we think are possible pranks, I have the doll, the holy symbol. What about the cat?
A nod.
Oh, certainly.
Anything else fit that bill?
Not that I can think of. Everything else seems to be supernatural in some form or another.
So in the power column, I have blight, insects, the baby, fish.
Snails.
Snails.
Mm-hmm. The
Boils.
hail.
Oh, no, the boils were natural.
Oh, yes, forgot.
That's another column.
The hail likely Could have been natural or super.
Question mark and question mark.
I will. I would recommend that perhaps we see the mayor.
Sure.
Yeah.
The story of Edward, I wonder how it relates to the story of Blaze, if there is any connection.
Interesting.
Are you heading out?
Yes, I believe we're going to go to the.
To the king's name.
Yes.
All right. So we'll call that your morning watch, having reviewed your evidence thus far, your signs of supernatural.
Mhm.
And you head out towards the home of the mayor in town. She lives at a building called King's Hall. It is the largest house in town. It's really more of a complex. It's a massive, like 3-story tall building with plastered small windows. There's new wings coming out the sides. It's kind of embracing a garden in the back. Heavy doors, and there's actually a portcullis on this. Bit unusual for a private home, but she is the mayor, and it is an impressive home. You knock, and you're shown in, and you're in a kind of sitting room area, and then Edna comes in. Witchburners, hello.
Greetings, Mayor King's name. We were wondering if we might have a word with your father.
Certainly you can see him if you wish, but I should tell you my father is no longer able to really speak.
That's
He's
quite all right.
If that is your wish, then I'll take you to him myself. He understands speech, she says as she walks you through the hallways. And he understands written word, I believe. He does seem to follow conversation. He responds to stimuli as he's able, but he cannot form words anymore. He cannot write anymore. He shakes. His left arm is mostly useless at this point. But he was a proud man. He still is a proud man. I believe his mind is the thinking mind is there. And she leads you to a door and knocks. And a woman comes to the door. Get her to an aging woman. She answers the door. She's short and stout. Says, "Oh, Mayor Edna, how nice to see you. Oh, these must be the Witchburners I've heard about." And she looks over at you all. I'm Orleana Priestkit. I'm the old mayor's nurse. Help take care of him. It's nice of you to come and pay him a visit. That is why you're here, right?
Yes. Thank you, Nurse Priestcat.
Oh, you can just call me Orleana. It's fine. And
Orleana,
she
then.
leads you into a small sitting room. You can see it's kind of like an apartment of rooms in there. It's like a small sitting room where you're at. You can see a couple of doors leading off. Please have a seat. And she motions to some stiff old-fashioned couches that clearly don't see a lot of use. She knocks on a door and enters. You can hear her chattering. And then out comes an old man after her. You can see the resemblance to Edna. There's a kind of proud haughtiness, around his eyes. Kind of a leonine figure, gray hair, and he looks you all over and nods.
sir.
I'll kind of nod to him and ask the nurse, Orleana, what is the best way to speak with Edward? I suppose, Edward, what do you prefer?
And he seems appreciative that you actually addressed him instead of the nurse when you turn to him, and he taps his ear, and Orleana says he hears just fine. He can follow your conversation. He can't really write. Um, Speech is difficult. Occasionally, he's able to, on a good day, make some words that are, I could help with that. Not able to have long, involved conversations, but he understands. He follows. Edward just
Trying
kind of
to
looks at you all like, "Why are you wasting my time?"
Since your time is precious and I suppose we should get right to the point. People believe that you were cursed by the traitor that you hanged. Do you share this belief?
Use insight for the entirety of this conversation. Basically, I want to read his body language
Sure.
rather than his actual reaction. Do you want me to roll it now or at the end?
Um, I will say that if you want it to be ongoing in this conversation, you're not going to be able to participate in the
I'm
conversation.
not planning on participating in the conversation. I'm just watching him while they talk.
Then you can roll it now.
7.
All right. So that is success at a cost. It's very taxing. Pay that close attention. So
Okay.
you're going to get a stress to your mind. Hey, we're getting rated.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. We're playing Witchburner. It's dark. It's pretty involved. It deals with paranoia and some serious themes. So happy to have you, but be aware.
Thank you, postmortem.
All right. So when he nods emphatically, yes, he believes that this is a curse from the traitor that he had hanged when he was mayor.
Do you believe that traitor has affected anyone else? Just you, then. Do you recall the traitor's name?
He nods and then looks at Orleana and says, "It was Jacob."
Does Jacob still have friends here? Or family? Even distant family?
Orleana speaks up. He wasn't from here originally, and I think uh, whatever family he had, I think must have left. It was some years ago. Uh, and then the mayor actually walks into another room, just like gets up and walks into the other room, the one he did not come out of. And then returns a moment later. You can see it's like a library inside, like a private study or library. And he comes back out later with a leather bound like diary looking thing, and he flips through it for a few moments, and then turns and hands it to you, Gillin, since you're leading the interrogation here. Do you take it from him?
Yes.
Yeah. It is an entry dated probably 15 years ago. And it is the entry from the day where he talked about the trial. So if you read it, you can read it in depth if you want, but just kind of skimming through it, you can see it's like the trial and conviction of this man named Jacob. His last name's kind of been stricken from the record because he was considered a traitor. He like let some bandits in, um, and he was tried and hanged. And it's kind of like an entry of like that night after it was done that the mayor wrote before he went to bed. you will notice it is the last entry. There's like a good like third of the book not filled, and it's the last entry.
I want to address Edward and ask him if he knew the affliction that afflicted Blaze. Was that before or after this hanging?
Um, the mayor holds up his hands. Well, he holds up his right hand, and his left hand like struggles to meet it. It doesn't quite meet. And he uses meaning like after the sense you
After.
get.
Okay.
And he holds them somewhat close together. Not like a huge amount of time after, but not super close. Sometime after. And Orleana says, I'm not sure how much after a few years.
Hmm. They seem very different afflictions, but I was just curious.
Well, what happened to the mayor, says Orleana, and she like nods towards Edward, meaning him, the mayor, when he was mayor. We think was probably a curse that's left him somewhat compromised, robbed him of his speech, his words. And what happened to Blaze was there was a spirit riding that man, something burning through him. So we probably, yes, very different indeed.
Have you sought help at all for your curse?
Edward gives you a look, like a withering look, as if you are so stupid. And
I mean,
Orleana says, yes, Dr. Cleanline's been here, regular visitor, ever since she got her degree. There were doctors before her. There were specialists that came in. David was was a young priest then, but still a good priest, and he attempted and brought priests in from other places. Nothing ever seemed to make a difference.
I apologize. Thank you.
Did you only ever try traditional medicine?
No. And Orlando says, well, we tried religion too, of course. That was some of the first things we tried. Uh, but the various priests could never find any sign of a spirit lingering on him, no feeling of magic. They tried different rituals that were supposed to cleanse, and nothing ever took.
I'm so sorry. I see that as traditional. I apologize. I wasn't clear on how I said that.
Oh, what else would you be referring to?
Well, if this is magical, would you ever seek out magic to heal it?
They both look very taken aback by that. Why would we? No. You could never trust the magic that a witch casts. You, they may appear to be helping you, but no, uh, you can't trust them. There's science and there's religion. Magic is an evil and a scourge upon us. And Edward looks like he agrees with every word she's saying.
Okay.
Have you felt anything change recently? Any signs or symptoms or feelings that grew stronger or different in the past few weeks?
He shakes his head and looks to Orleana and says, his joints been bothering him a bit with the cold weather, but that's normal. That's the only thing that's really changed recently. He's a bit grumpy. She kind of gives him a look, and he gives her a look. Edward, after a moment, holds out his hand to take his book back from you, Gillin.
I note the date and hand it back.
It was summertime, late summer, heading into harvest, probably about 15 years ago.
Do we have any further questions for the mayor?
I don't think I have anything. Renny?
We thank you for your time. You've been quite illuminating. We hope that you have a pleasant rest of your day and restful. God's willing.
As you go to leave, Edward takes like a deep, kind of rattly sounding breath, and he steps forward, and I think he goes to you, Galen, because again you've been leading this, and he reaches out with his good hand and he puts it on your shoulder, and you can see he's struggling, his mouth is working, and he's like a little pulsy kind of shake almost, and he makes a sound, and it's a little difficult for you to understand at first, but that he keeps repeating it with a lot of strain, and you hear him saying, "Burn, burn it, burn it." He keeps repeating it until you show that you understand.
Burn it. By it, do you mean the witch, or understand?
And he walks over towards the mantle over the fireplace in the sitting room, and he puts his good hand up on the mantle and places it on top of a skull that is there. And he makes eye contact with each of you, and then he like carefully puts his other hand up on an empty spot and looks at all of you. And Orleana says, "That's Jacob's skull. He had it brought up here."
I see what you're saying, your mayorship.
So what I get?
All of that seems true. And he is angry. You get that he's a very angry man. He feels like a lot of his life was stolen from him.
Mm-hmm.
He was kind of young to get an affliction like that. Like he's probably only in his like early to mid 60s now. So he was not young when it happened to him, but he still had like, easily another decade at least of being mayor and running the town, and then this was stolen from him. He is clearly still fully cognizant, you think.
Mm-hmm.
He's fully following the conversation, understands what was said to him, and he was doing his best to communicate back. And he's an angry, bitter old man who really wants that witch dead so he can put its skull on his mantelpiece next to the traitor's skull.
Did I get an actual sense of magic from him? Like,
no.
Yeah, so it was a stroke. Got it.
I mean, from your insight, it doesn't feel particularly magical. If you want to check for traces of magic on him
I did.
or the skull.
I rolled insight and magic.
Okay.
Sorry. I should have specified earlier.
You don't get.
Okay.
Any feeling of that. If there was something, it was so long ago that you probably wouldn't.
Okay.
Especially with the skull just sitting on the mantelpiece where Edward is cool just touching it.
Yeah. Okay. They probably just had a stroke.
So I say to him, we won't let you down.
He looks you all over and then looks at Orleana, and his like expression changes. She's, yes, I know, that was a lot. I'm sorry, I have to ask you to go. The mayor's getting a bit tired.
I'll turn and leave.
Understand.
Follow Robin.
Thank you for your time.
That was definitely the full afternoon watch. I think that Edna is kind of like in a side room. The mayor, like kind of pretending she's not waiting for you guys to leave. And as you just Witchburners, I hope hope it was not a stressful visit to my father.
It seemed as though he had everything that we asked him he wanted to get off of his chest. So while it may have been taxing to his energy, I believe that it might be good for his health that it would have happened.
I suppose that's good. Yes. I hope the visit was helpful.
It was, and we would like to talk to you if you wouldn't mind. We haven't talked to you yet.
Of course. Would you care to join me for dinner?
Of course.
Right. So she lets the servants know, and they set 4 more places for dinner, and we're well into evening watch now for dinner time. And you guys can talk while it's coming up.
So, who do you think might be behind this?
It's so difficult to say. I thought that I knew everyone in town. I thought I could trust everyone to, at the very least, be interested in our collective survival. I can't imagine why anyone would want to blight the town so thoroughly.
Of course.
It puts us all in danger. Personal grudges are human nature, and witches are humans. They have power at their disposal to take those grudges out on others. I understand that impulse, even as I condemn it. But to condemn the entire town while living here? It's madness.
Who's difficult here? Who causes the most trouble?
Oh, lots of. I mean, it's a town. There are family rivalries. There are marital problems that I must solve. There are business negotiations. There's tension with outside traders passing through. There is accusations that some are too zealous and others are not zealous enough. It's a mayor's work is never done.
Yes, but who in particular just makes things difficult?
So if you would like to put pressure on her to name a name, please make a roll.
Yes, let me see what I have that I can use. Oh, all right. I'm gonna do it in a real nice way, so I'm gonna use my charm.
Okay.
I'm trying to get her to like me. I rolled a 10.
Oh, excellent. And what's your highest stress?
Still a 1.
All right, I rolled another 1, so I'm just skating by. So 10 is a clear success. So she looks thoughtful for a moment as I roll dice. And you can see her kind of like her mouth is moving a little bit as she's thinking. She says, well, if I had to name someone who was odd and gave me pause and who I think might be capable of acts such as we've seen, these kinds of indiscriminate and vengeful acts, there is a woman in town that I must deal with, and I find her distasteful. Victoria Townsman, our store master, oversees the warehouses and such in town.
I heard that she has
She,
evil eyes.
yes, she does. I was just about to say. You see the mayor like reaches up and uses her table napkin to like dab its sweat along the sides of her face. There's just something strange about that woman, something distasteful with her, as you say, evil eyes.
So, I'm more interested in the people who take action, not the people who make you uncomfortable, but the people who do things that make everyone uncomfortable.
I would say Victoria. She is too interested in stories of violence and pressures the town guards for war stories. Um, I thought Krista was going to punch her at one point because she pushed so hard against things, and Krista has been through more than most. And even a fool knows not to press someone like that on things she does not want to talk about. But Victoria is apparently worse than a fool. it, she's. I hesitate to call her bloodthirsty. I've never seen her harm anyone or anything, but she is delighted by tales of violence and blood. And she wanders a lot alone out through the forests uh, with the town guard when they will have her, when she has not recently angered Krista. She ventures out far. It's strange, and
Was she not
especially
old enough? Sorry.
she is a full adult. It's I struggle to put into words, but it's not merely that she is difficult to work with. She is a competent store master. She runs the stores, the warehouses well. Her employees and her clerks speak of her competence. It's something in her nature that is dark and twisted and perhaps evil. And it's easy to sense if you spend prolonged periods of time around her.
Okay. And who should we not look at? Who should we just trust? Who do you trust?
She says Peppy is a bit odd, but he's a brewer. He's a devout man. He adopted a girl. She was a war orphan. He and his husband just adopted her and out of the kindness of their hearts because she had no parents. And he's proved to be a very doting father. I know there are strange stories about Pepe because he is such an expert brewer, but I don't believe them. Is there anything else you wish to learn in conversation with Edna?
Is Victoria Townsman a native of Bridge?
Oh, yes, she's from here. She grew up here.
And another unrelated question, but do you know when Pepe adopted his child?
Oh, not long after the war ended. Only a few months. So, I guess she's been around 2.5 years or so.
How good is this food?
It's pretty good. It's the best you've had in the village so far. And you kind of get the impression that like it's not actually anything special because you got there too late for them to have prepared something special for you. This is just how Edna eats. Better than what you get at the inn, and the food at the inn is pretty decently good. Some of it's quite good actually, because Peppy is skilled cook.
And if I remember correctly, does the mayor have a guarded warehouse?
She doesn't. Victoria Townsman oversees all of the warehouses for the town. It's kind of like her job. She's the store master.
Okay.
So that the warehouse that you visited at first was one that she oversees. And when you met Goran, like he works for Victoria.
Okay.
Did Victoria seem particularly interested in the story of the traitor or in Blaze's affliction? Or rather, the circumstances that led up to it?
She was present at every hearing and trial for the traitor. She was present at the hanging. Um, she was always there. Some others were too, just out of anger at what he did to allow bandits into Bridge. Um, but she did seem to kind of enjoy the proceedings. Um, she was a teenager at the time. Um, she did go and like watch Blaze in the cage, where Evan kept him. Um, and it tells like how like it felt like nearly every day Victoria would make time to come and just simply stare at him and just watch with this not quite delighted but fascinated look on her face as Blaze would like scream and rave in there in the cage and like claw at the bars and try to get out.
That is mildly alarming.
Yes.
If we left the dinner right, this is me asking. If we left the dinner right now, would we still have time in the evening before bedtime to do anything?
Nope.
Nuts.
Yes.
All right, then I'm definitely going to stay for dessert.
It's a plum pudding. And it tells you it's probably the last that we'll have of plums for a while now that they've been ruined.
Alrighty.
Head back to.
I assume you all sleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
11. And it's now that it's 10:45, I think we're going to end for the evening. So we made it through 4 days out of the second week. All right. So thank you everyone for tuning in to our third episode of Witchburner. The stakes are rising. Maybe we'll get Bird a Witch next week. We'll see.
I know.
Uh, we'll be back next week at the same time, same slot. And let's have everyone go around and say who you are and where people can find you. So, Mylan, let's start with you.
I'm Miellyn Barrows. I'm a writer. You can find me on Twitter at MyelynB.
All right. Kristina?
Hi, I'm Kristina. I'm also a writer and I play tabletop games. You can find me over on Twitter at D20Xtina. You can find me over on Off the Table every other Wednesday playing Glitter Hearts, a magical girl RPG.
My audio again?
Yes, you cut out. Sorry.
Okay.
Hiromi.
Hi, I'm Hiromi, they, them. I am also a writer. I mainly work in tabletop RPGs. Speaking of which, the Scarred Lands Dead Man's Rust Kickstarter is currently live. We're fully funded, but we can get some more cool stuff, especially virtual tabletop stuff, if we continue to get more money for that. I was one of the writers on that. I will be doing a live stream of Scarred Lands with Scarred Lands' nicest adventuring party on Saturday, where we have tried our best to not kill anybody, which in a setting as fucking metal as Scarred Lands is hard.
Awesome. Ian, tell the people who you are.
Well, I think most people know who I am. No, I'm Ian, the VP of Strategy for Gehenna Gaming, which is the channel you're watching right now, unless you're watching this as a VOD, in which case you're on our YouTube channel. Also, you can find me online at Ravnos, which I'm very excited was finally announced for V5 as of today, and the new clan symbol is fucking baller. We have a lot of cool stuff coming up. I'm just gonna take over.
I should probably tell who I am, maybe?
Yeah. We have a lot of really cool stuff coming up. I just want to say, bounce off that Kickstarter thing. Tomorrow is the final episode of the series of one-shots of Ace Adventure that we are running with the game creator, Brian. That Kickstarter, I believe, ends this weekend. So check that out tomorrow night. And
it ends tomorrow night.
The Kickstarter does end tomorrow night?
It ends in the middle of the stream tomorrow night.
Well, there you go. Check out the stream and back it before the stream ends. And I will let Stephanie go, and then I will wrap out our schedule for the next week.
So So, again, my name is Stephanie Allen. I am one half of Charm Person Games. We are a queer woman owned professional game master for hire service. As I mentioned before, we do things online, obviously. So you can book us there. And if you're Baltimore based, you can book us in person in the after times.
Yeah.
Yes, in the after times that are coming. You can find me online at charmpersongames.com. We're on Facebook as Charmperson Games. We're on Twitter as Charmperson Game because Twitter has character limits, unfortunately. You can also just find me here various times. We'll be running Witchburner. On Monday nights, we have Monster Hearts 2. I am a player in that one. I play our Fae. So if you like your disturbing fairiness just a little more fun and glittery, you can find me there. So, yeah, charmpersongames.com. Book us.
Excellent. Before we sign off for the evening, I just want to say we have a lot of really good stuff coming up through the rest of December. Last night we started our mini-series on Cult Divinity Lost. I'm just my cat while I'm talking. Echoes of the Past, which is a great game. Fantastic cast. That will be running every Wednesday night for the rest of this month. As we mentioned, tomorrow is the final episode of Ace Adventure. We have something fun coming up on Fridays following that. This Saturday, we have James Hutt from Art Halsorian Games running a group of us through a one-shot of Cyberpunk Red. So if you want to check that game out, I believe that's also, I believe Cyberpunk 2077 comes out this week too. So, hey, plenty to watch for that. And then Sunday, we have, hold on, Forbidden Lands, but you can also catch me over on our good friend, Brother Wesley's channel, Carry and Comfort Studios, where I will be playing in our V5 Iron City by Night game set in Birmingham, Alabama. And then Monday, Monster Hearts 2. Tuesday, we have a fireside chat coming, which the topic has not been decided on. I had to think, sorry. And then Wednesday is currently open, but we might be streaming. Stay tuned. And then we'll be back with this.
Yeah. It's a whole week.
It's a whole week. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate it. I will drop some social links. If you enjoyed this game and want to chat with us, you can catch almost everyone here. Sorry, I don't know why I said almost. I was thinking of the one shot I did last Saturday.
In the Discord.
Everyone
Not
here.
everyone is active in the Discord.
The game I was doing Saturday, not everyone was in the Discord. That's why my brain went there. You can catch all of us over on our Discord. I will also drop that link. Thank you so much for tuning in. Pleasure. Always. We'll see you soon.
Have a great night.
Bye.
Wash your hands, wear a mask.
Those things.
Get the
Don't
fuck
go
away
out in
from
public.
people.
Stay home.
Yeah, don't leave your house.
Please.